Hi, Billy Mays here with the Venus Lighthouse. Mother Nature has never looked so earthly. Oh yeah, I know. Bad Billy Mays impressions, but God, I miss you, Billy Mays. You were a great TV sales pitch guy for products like OxyClean and all that stuff, but yes, you will be missed, and I miss you a whole lot. But other than that, hello everybody, this is Double RPG here, and welcome back to another episode of Double RPG Let's Play with Golden Sun on the Game Boy Advance. In today's episode, we're going to go through the Venus Lighthouse in its entirety before going down the way or going down the slide that will lead us to the top of the Venus Lighthouse. But we will not go to the top of the Venus Lighthouse just yet, as I've been saying in previous episodes, as we will be doing some other things, like going through some side quests that we can do, such as the rescuing Master Hammett and going through the Crossbone Isle. And looking for the other gene that we have missed out on. But for today's episode, we're only going to be focusing on going through the Venus Lighthouse in its entirety before the final battle. But anyway, let's go ahead and get on with this episode that's already in progress, shall we? So, as you can tell, since we are here at the Venus Lighthouse finally, in the interior of where we need to be, we finally get a little bit of introduction of what the newer enemies are like. And, as I said, when we go through this place, we will be able to find the strongest weapon for Isaac in the game. The strongest sword, rather. And there is a stronger weapon for Garrett, but we will find it in the Crossbone Isle. But we need a special accessory for him to use, so that way we can have him protected when he uses both the weapon, the armor, and whatever else that they have. The shield, I think. But, yeah. They are cursed. And if you equip yourself with cursed weapons, you cannot remove them unless you have the ability from, or unless if you gain the aid of a healer from a church or a temple or whatever. Or a cathedral. But yeah. But there is a weapon. I mean, if you have cursed items on you, then they will take, what do you call it? They will do some damage to you in one way or the other. So, yeah, make sure you get this item when we go to the Crossbone Isle, so that way you can protect Garrett or protect any of your party members from the side effects that the cursed items will unleash on you, in case if you get hit by these cursed items or whatever. Okay, so yeah, we won't go to the Venus Lighthouse. I mean, we won't go to the Crossbone Isle until just a little bit. I'm thinking that this Let's Play is probably going to end sometime later next week. Probably near the end of next week. If things go along smoothly. It kind of depends on where everything goes. Probably next Friday, but I wouldn't bet on it. But I do want to get Skyward Sword up and ready at some point, and I still need to get on with recording some footage for both that game and, like, for the first 5 episodes of that game and the first 5 episodes of Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, because I know there's a lot of people who would want me to do Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 before Ninja Gaiden 3, and like I said, I'm happy to oblige to that request. And I bet some of you are probably going to be asking me, am I planning on buying Ninja Gaiden Sigma Plus and Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 Plus for the PlayStation Vita? Well, I did get a chance to try out the Vita over at a GameStop, but to be honest, I'm not that thoroughly impressed at the moment with the... Well, I mean, I do like the Vita with its design. I mean, I think it's a lot more glossy than the PSP, or glossier than the PSP, because of that whole plastic shiny feel or whatever it is that the PS Vita has on it. But the thing that I'm not really in favor for is the short battery life. I mean, I did try out a little bit of Uncharted Golden Abyss. I mean, it works fine, but it's just that I'm not really in favor of the battery life, so I'm going to wait until the price goes down to at least around the price where the Nintendo 3DS is at. So that way the PS Vita and the Nintendo 3DS at least can have some fair competition. But when you have one device that's at $250 right now, I mean, it's a really good price for when it came out, because a lot of people thought it was going to be very expensive, but it came out at a very good price. But, you know, with a device like that being at $250 at the moment, it's just more people are prone to go to the Nintendo 3DS because it's cheaper. So I'm probably just gonna wait until the price goes down, so that way I can get myself a new a new copy. And there are some games that I actually do want to try out for it. That's for sure. And since I do have the job, and since I'm trying my best to get another part-time job, so that way I can work full-time, then I could possibly get a PS Vita early, and I would get Ninja Gaiden Sigma Plus for it. But as of right now, as the way things stand, I can't really do anything at the moment. I mean, there are other games that really are on my must-want or must-have list, like Kid Icarus Uprising, for example, and Tales of Grace F, and what else? Oh, and Xenoblade Chronicles, and I don't know what else. But other than that, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to those games. It's not to say the same that I'm looking forward to some of the games on the Vita. I mean, I am, like the Ninja Gaiden Sigma Plus and Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 Plus, because, well, if they're going to be just straight-up ports with only adding in the controls for the PlayStation Vita, then I'm not really going to be that thoroughly impressed. I mean, I do like the screen looking all HD quality, and you can play it on the TV to make it seem like you're actually playing a PS3 game from the PlayStation Vita on your TV, but it's just, sometimes it makes you wonder, what's the point of having the PS Vita, or having games that are both a PS3 version and the PS Vita, if you could play the PS Vita on the TV? I mean, you're probably just better than... I mean, you're just probably you're just better off playing the PS3 versions of the games on your TV, instead of just having to solely rely on the PS Vita to do all that stuff. But then again, with the PS Vita, you could probably not have to own the PS3 version of any games, like Final Fantasy X HD or whatever. But yeah, I will get it eventually, but just for right now, I have no plans at the moment. And in other news, I actually did get a chance to check out the new Avengers trailer, which did air during Super Bowl Sunday, and I gotta say, it's pretty rockin'. I mean, Loki said that he has a really strong force to try to attack the Avengers, but the Avengers came back and said, well, we actually got our own weapon. We've got ourselves a Hulk. And yes, the Incredible Hulk's in that movie too, so yeah. Better watch yourself, Loki. But from what I saw, it actually does look like it'll hold some promise for for like 3 movies branching out into a whole movie universe. Like with Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America, all connecting together to the Avengers movie. The whole movie universe aspect is really amazing. So yeah, that's definitely one of the movies I'm definitely going to go see this May. And I also checked out the Amazing Spider-Man trailer with Andrew Garfield. And I gotta say, what I really like is that the trailer, from what I've seen, I really like how it takes an original approach. I mean, the whole story is going to be an origin story, so everything is going to be entirely, entirely original, because I'm getting the feeling that Peter Parker's uncle, Ben, is not going to be killed in this movie, because it looks like he's still around when Peter Parker as Spider-Man is going to be fighting against the Lizard. And I think this is possibly going to be a movie trilogy or something, to where Gwen Stacy is probably going to be killed off in the 3rd movie, because, in the comics, the Green Goblin, well, he threw her off the Washington Bridge, or the George Washington Bridge, and Spider-Man caught her with his web while she was falling, but she suffered a whiplash based on the impact of the web grabbing her from the high fall, and it snapped her neck and she died. So I guess it's kind of makes you wonder who actually killed Spider-Man's first love interest. Was it Spider-Man, or was it the Green Goblin? It would be that, Spider-Man actually killed her because, of the whiplash from the web, but then again, the Green Goblin did throw her off the bridge, so it would make sense that the Green Goblin was the one responsible for her death. And yes, and from what I've seen on the official trailer that's been posted on YouTube, there have been those who've been saying that Emma Stone is actually Mary Jane Watson, but no, that's not Mary Jane Watson. Mary Jane Watson is a redhead. Gwen Stacy is blonde, and the female that was in the trailer is Gwen Stacy, and she is blonde. So, what it is that they're, with them saying, that Emma Stone is Mary Jane Watson, they really need to read the comics. I'm sorry, but calling Emma Stone Mary Jane Watson, even though she is a redhead in real life, but she had to dye her hair blonde to play the role of Gwen Stacy. So, yeah, you really need to read up on your comics there. And I know Spider-Man's first love interest, and I know how she met her end, and all that stuff. And with a movie like that, it seems to be taking a page from The Dark Knight in terms of the dark atmosphere, because it really does seem like they're going for a darker approach for this origin story. Because, even though Spider-Man story arcs, even though they are dark, but at least Peter Parker always tries to lighten up the mood, because he always cracks jokes at his enemies and such. So, but I really think this is pushing the envelope in terms of the dark atmosphere agenda, or whatever, or the darker agenda, or whatever you call it. But yeah, it seems to be going pretty dark, because I know that Gwen Stacy's father, Captain Stacy, is going to be issuing an arrest warrant for Spider-Man. And I think the whole New York Police Department is actually going to be going after Spider-Man because they don't think he's trying to help. And this is kind of in the same vein with Christopher Nolan's Batman movies. Even though Batman is trying to help out Gotham City, there are some policemen who still want to arrest Batman. Since Batman's trying to save Gotham City, there are those in the Gotham Police Department that want to arrest Batman because they think he's nothing but a masked criminal. So yeah, there are some similarities, but I think it definitely holds promise. But the thing that I'm just kind of iffy about at the moment is some dragon scales. I think that's a very powerful piece of armor that we can equip for Isaac, if I'm not mistaken. And let's give that to Ivan. Yeah, but it will decrease his attack power. So, you know what? Let's equip it for Garrett right now. But yeah, the only thing that I'm iffy about in the movie is Andrew Garfield's portrayal of Peter Parker, Spider-Man. But it's just, when I say iffy, I say that the whole thing with the costume for Spider-Man, I really think it could have been done a lot better. With the Sam Raimi movies, the Spider-Man costume is actually done really well. I think it's a very nice interpretation of what Spider-Man would look like in the modern day era. But with Spider-Man, with Andrew Garfield playing Spider-Man, with his suit, it just, I do like the whole, the rubber latex look of the suit, but the thing that just really doesn't satisfy me is some of the features within the suit. Like, it looks like that Spider-Man is wearing ballerina slippers, and because you can see the outline of like the silver lining at the bottom of the shoes and all that. That's what I'm iffy about. But I actually did like that Andrew Garfield actually put in more emphasis for Peter Parker in terms of Spider-Man, because he actually does seem like he's cracking jokes at enemies, which I actually like. Because one of the things I complained about Tobey Maguire playing Spider-Man is that he kind of portrayed him in a more melancholy personality, and he would always, he didn't even seem like he put any emphasis to try to crack jokes at his enemies. So, yeah. And besides, with this third, I know a lot of people said they didn't like the third Spider-Man movie. I liked it, but the only thing that I really didn't like about that movie, the key major complaint that I had with that movie was Topher Grace's portrayal as Venom. Well, the character Venom, or the villain, or whatever. Because Topher Grace as Venom would always pronounce himself in the first person, where Venom in the comics would always portray himself in the second person, saying like we and us, because it's based on two personalities into one character. You have the personality of the symbiotes, and then you have the personality of you have the personality of Eddie Brock being one, and they consider themselves as two different people, so in one body, so they just refer to themselves as we or us or whatever. So yeah, that's my only complaint with that movie. But other than that, it's entertaining. I mean, I really, I thought the movie had its silly moments and thought it was pretty funny, but a lot of people tend to complain about Tobey Maguire being all emo because of him being infested with the symbiotic power. The power of the symbiotes, or a suit getting imbued with the symbiotic power of the symbiotes or whatever. But then again, Peter Parker, even though he wasn't emo, but he was kind of a jerk when he took the symbiotic power within his body. It kind of transformed his personality a little bit. Even though it made him stronger, but it kind of transformed his personality just a bit. So yeah, I think the Amazing Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, I think he does hold promise for the role, but I'd rather... I'll just have to see it to believe it. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to have to see it to believe it, because, like I said, I'm just not sold with him wearing the Spider-Man suit. It could have been better, but if Andrew Garfield can pull it off to where he actually does put in emphasis as Peter Parker, because even though he probably my favorite voice of Spider-Man was the guy who voiced him in Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and Christopher Daniel Barnes in the Spider-Man animated series on Fox in the 1990s. I think he had a pretty good voice, but Andrew Garfield, I'll just have to see to believe. But it definitely does look promising. I'll say it that much. Looks like the superhero movie craze is really going to be very competitive this summer, and I'll have to see where things go from there. Okay, enough talk about movies. Isaac has obtained the Gaia Blade, and yes, we have the strongest weapon for Isaac in the game, and you shall see how powerful it is once we get to it. But when will we get to it? Well, hopefully in the upcoming random battle that we come across. Hopefully I get to show you what the Titan Blade's most powerful ability is when you unleash its howl. But let's just see what it does. Yeah, here we go, Titan Blade. Just look at that! A blade just comes out of the sky and just rams down on the enemy, and it does a whole lot of damage. A lot more than what everybody else has. So, yeah, it's a very powerful weapon, and I'd make sure you constantly use this for Isaac in the rest of the game. Trust me, it's a godsend for him to have it. And with the Gaia Blade, it's definitely a Venus Adept's own weapon to have. Well, for those who are mostly brute types, who wield swords and all that. And ouch, Garrett got infected with a deadly venom, so ouch, I didn't want to do that, but that's okay, because we managed to complete the battle. But yeah, I wanted to show you what the Gaia Blade was like. It's pretty powerful. Alright, so yeah, from what I was saying, that Spider-Man, the superhero movie craze, I definitely think there's going to be some good competition this summer, especially with The Dark Knight Rises and the Avengers, so it's definitely bound to be good. I did watch a lot of superhero films last year. Like, for instance, I did watch... What movie did I watch? I did watch Thor. I did watch X-Men, the X-Men First Class. I also watched Pirates of the Caribbean, Lost Tides, even though I wasn't really big in favor of that film. And I also watched Cars 2. And I also watched Captain America, the First Avenger, obviously. And I watched Transformers Dark of the Moon. I gotta say, it was definitely a lot better than Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, but still, with Michael Bay movies, they're just nothing but eye candy. They could have been better. And I'm not really in favor of movies that really try to impress themselves with eye candy, because most of the time with movies, they try to go for a story-based approach, and you want to feel for characters and all that stuff. And I think that was one of the things that really succeeded well for the Generation 1 animated series was, even though it established what the Transformers were like, you actually get an understanding where they come from and why they are very likable. and especially with Optimus Prime's case. Okay, and yeah, so I did watch a lot of movies last year, so that was quite an experience for me to be fortunate enough to watch a lot of films in the process. And it looks like I'll be able to watch some more films this year. Well, it depends based on, it depends based on, what do you call it? It depends based on my schedule because of work. Since I do have a part-time job, I'm trying to score another part-time job so at least I can work full-time and get some more money so that way I can actually buy some more games. So, yeah, so that way I can keep things fresh, and I always have new LPs for you all, aside from the retro stuff. And I'd be a really happy man to get back on my feet. So yeah, had a lot to talk about in this episode today. And we're getting close to the point where we will have to stop going through the Venus Lighthouse. And I think by the time we cross that sand pit or that sand river within this place, then we should be able to get up to that one point before we have to leave the Venus Lighthouse. But let's go ahead and finish up this video from where we are until we make it up there. So yeah, Golden Sun is almost done. Well, aside from the side quests and the final battle that we have to go through. And so it's going to be Skyward Sword and Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 throughout my whole time doing Let's Plays. For right now, and I'm pretty sure that Skyward Sword is probably going to take the rest of this year to do, so at least I'll have some other things that I can do in the meantime. Like, I want Skyward Sword to be my big project, and then after that, Xenoblade Chronicles. But I will have some other stuff planned in the works, like, Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, for instance, and I will also be probably doing Kirby's Epic Yarn, because I've been highly thinking about doing a Let's Play on that for quite some time, so. And I have been wanting to do, a Kirby game for, like, a regular series, kind of like, ones that are episodic, and not ones that are quick, kind of like, Kirby's Dream Land, or Kirby's Adventure, or Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland, or whatever. Okay, and by the time we cross up these stairs, we have made it to the topmost point before reaching to the peak of the Venus Lighthouse. So yeah, when we go down that slide, we land on the platform, and that platform will take us all the way to the top of the beacon of the lighthouse. And that's where the final battle will take place. But, as I said, we're not going to go there just yet. Let's finish up this battle, grab the Synergy Stone, and get out of here. Yes, it's a constant repetitive feature that I always go back to the menu to heal my party members, but it has to be done. Alright, gamers. We're going to stop things right here because we made it to the part before the final battle, and the stopping point before the final battle, and we're going to do some side questing in the next episode. So yeah, next time on RRPG Let's Play with Golden Sun on the Game Boy Advance, we're going to resume where we left off, and we are going to make our way back towards the thief town of Lunpa, so that way we can save Master Hammett. And we're also going to go back to Vale, so that way we can try to get Ivan's last Jupiter Genie as well. And we will be able to find Mia's last Mercury Genie in Lunpa as well. But there is a process that we have to do in order to get it, but I'll show you what it is once we get to it. Alright, gamers, if you have not done so already, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter with the links in the description. And if you like what you saw, oh, and also there's that Facebook fan page that you should also check out. And if you like what you saw, then be sure to rate this video, subscribe to my channel, and leave comments below to let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Alright, gamers, take care of yourselves, and I shall see you on the next episode. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys then.